for that incredible information. It's always so great to hear, how things are going with your practice and how the kids are responding to the products. So thank you for sharing that with us. I'm going to go on and get started talking a little bit more about the children's health product line. So hopefully everybody has refreshed their page to see the new live broadcast. And I know some people will be joining us. I'm just giving it a couple more seconds before I go ahead and get started. Excellent. So I'm seeing lots of people joining in. I am going to go on. I'm 2 to 3 minutes early, but the reason why I wanted to pop on a few minutes early and talk about some more of our children's health products is Valerie mentioned two of my absolute favorite. In fact, I have right here the chews sitting in front of me. And Dr. Mason and I, when we were working in the office together, we used to keep on both of our desks this box or basket of the chews. And when we were feeling stressed or when we felt like we needed something sweet, and we typically would have gone to like a candy jar, why not use something so much more healthy than candy? And so these taste delicious. They literally taste better than Starburst, but there's so much great nutrition in these chews. My kids start off their day with the OPC chews. They call them OPC chewies. And if I'm busy, let's say I get caught up in a conference call and they know that they're supposed to get these things before breakfast. When I'm on the call, they come running in, and Braden, my little 4-year-old, has been doing this for about a year and a half. He would say, "Mommy, I need my OPC chewy. Mommy, I need my OPC chewy." They totally love them. And how great is that to have your kids begging you and asking you for their vitamins, right? Their supplements. And so I wanted to just share that with you because I had that here sitting right next to me because, even though we love going live and it's so cool to be able to hang out with so many of you in your living rooms, and I sit in mine. I'm actually in my neighbor's living room because we had a crazy lightning storm today that completely fried my modem. And how great is that to have, a 3-day live event coming up on Facebook and your modem gets fried? So thank you to my neighbors who lent me their house so that I could still go live and talk to you about the children's health. So I want to go ahead and talk about some of the other favorite products that my kids and I have for health and nutrition of kids. And let's just start off for a little bit by talking about how I raised my kids. If you visit my Facebook page, you'll notice it'll say owner at nourishmentformoms.com, which is one, and I don't have my website up right now, so don't try to go there. But what I love to do is try to educate moms from a very early age on how to get their kids to eat healthy. And I read a book when I was pregnant with my first child called Feeding Baby Green that really impacted me. What Dr. Green talked about in there is that you can actually start to influence a child's taste buds when they are still in the womb. So if mom eats a lot of sweets and mom eats a lot of junk food while the baby's pregnant, that's going to start influencing the palate of the baby from a very early age. So instead, if mom starts focusing on eating a lot of vegetables as when she's pregnant, it will actually, some of the vegetables really get into, even the babies can taste it when they're still in the womb. And some fruits and vegetables, herbs like basil, can be really strong. And so if women that are on the webinar with me, you probably noticed when you were pregnant, if you had kids, certain things you ate made the baby respond a little bit more. Maybe they'd move a little bit more. Maybe they'd kick a little bit more. But they definitely responded to spicy food. They definitely responded to other foods. So we know that the foods that we ate when we were pregnant could impact them, right? And then as they get older, if you are nursing, right, the taste can also get into the milk supply. So it's important for a mom, if you're watching now and you're just starting out your family, or you are still nursing, what you eat can, you can also impact that by making sure that you are, when it's time for them to eat, not just starting with the simple baby cereals, the simple, all the sweet foods, but make sure that you make for them purees, or when you're picking your baby foods for them, you're getting them veggies, and you're starting them on veggies from an early time period. Whether you follow baby-led weaning, whether you follow making your own purees, whether you use store-bought baby products, it doesn't matter. That's all philosophy, right? But if you can get them eating vegetables from a very early age, they're going to make healthier choices as they get older, and that is important. What's interesting about that, though, is you will also have kids that are very picky. There are some kids that no matter how much you try to get them to eat veggies, don't like them. So what do? We need to make sure that we balance out the picky eaters by making sure that they get a good quality supplement, even just a good quality multivitamin, right? So how do we do that? Well, we have multiple multivitamin products available under the DNA Miracles brand with our product line. So we have a basic multivitamin. We have a chewable multivitamin. We have my favorite, which is called the Multivitamin Plus. And I just want to share this with you for a second. I'm going to pull it up, actually. When I go up to the Multivitamin Plus, I'm going to pull it up on my website. And I'm going to change my screen on eCam to show you my computer. So you should be able to see right now on my computer the DNA Miracles Isotonics Multivitamin Plus. And I just want to share with you how you actually look for information on the website. So if you go to shop.com or talk to the person that invited you on this webinar, maybe it's Nutrimetrics.com, maybe it's Isotonics.com, ask them what website they want you to go to get their product link for you so that you're buying it specifically from them. But I'm showing it you right now to you on shop.com. When you click on here for the DNA Miracles Isotonics Multivitamin Plus, you can click on the image to be able to see the actual image live. I just lost my screen. Hopefully you can still see that. When I pull up the picture, you can see exactly what is in the product. But if you scroll down a little bit farther, you'll be able to see some of the testimonials that have been shared via images. You can see all of the different benefits and all of the different nutrients that are included in this product. Helps promote normal levels in vitamins and minerals for individuals who need neurologic, digestive, or metabolic support. This product in particular is a very advanced multivitamin for kids that are picky eaters. Valerie talked a lot about kids that need the extra neurologic support. When she sees kids in her therapy center, a lot of times they are picky eaters. A lot of times they might not be the ones that are eating everything that they should be eating. So we want to make sure that we are getting activated B vitamins in them. We want to make sure that we're getting quadrafolic, which is the gold standard in folic acid. We want to make sure that we're getting everything that they need to help them metabolize their food properly, right? My children, and I'm going to talk about two different products that are very critical for my kids, because both of my kids, no matter what I did, I extended breastfed them. I ate very healthy when I was pregnant with them. I made sure to make all of their own baby food. I made all organic baby food for them when they were little, and they still developed gluten and dairy sensitivities. So both of my kids are sensitive eaters. We have restricted diets because of this. And we found this out when my oldest son, Tristan, was about 11 or 12 months old. We were traveling in Miami. We were staying at a hotel, and he hadn't had any dairy up to that point because he was exclusively breastfed until I made all of his own food for him. And I tend to be dairy-free also. So he had never had dairy before, and we were staying in Miami at a hotel, and they made his eggs with butter. And literally within minutes of him eating those scrambled eggs as butter, as a small toddler, and eggs were one of his first food, his cheeks just like erupted in this bright red rash. And I mean, it was almost instant. And I didn't realize what it was at first. I just saw these red cheeks, and until I figured out what it was, he continued eating dairy while we were at that hotel. They were using butter in a lot of the foods. And so I talked to Dr. Mason, and I'm like, what is this? And she said it's very typical for kids that have a dairy issue for it to show up on their face. So we started noticing with dairy that anytime he would eat it, he would get bright red, like almost eczema-like symptoms on his face. And then we noticed when he had gluten at a couple of restaurants, we didn't use it at home, but when he would have gluten at a couple of restaurants, he would get what I called chicken skin, where it would sometimes show up as like eczema on his arms and legs, but even if it didn't show up as like real red, itchy eczema, it showed up as these little white bumps that he just would scratch at, and he would like really kind of pull his arms apart in his sleep because he had all these sensitivities to gluten and dairy. And these activated multivitamins, the activated B vitamins in the multi, they can really make a difference, right? And our digestive enzymes, which is another one of our favorite products, and I'll tell you, where's that one? The DNA Miracles digestive enzymes, they can really help kids that are sensitive to gluten and dairy to be able to handle it when there's cross-contamination. We are a gluten-free, dairy-free household, but we travel quite a bit, and when we eat out, sometimes it's hard for there not to be cross-contamination. And today, for example, it was Braden's 4th birthday, so we spent the last day and a half in Myrtle Beach. We took him up for a little birthday activity, and for lunch today, we stopped at Paula Dean's restaurant. And Paula Dean has a brand new restaurant in Myrtle Beach, and we never had been to one before. We didn't realize you had to order family style, and you couldn't modify any of the foods. And so we tried to pick foods that were gluten and dairy free. There were very little on that menu. And so I knew that they were going to have cross-contamination. I knew they were eating foods that had butter on them. So the very first thing that we did when we got home is we gave them their digestive enzymes. And it will help them because we could tell almost immediately in their skin when they've had gluten and dairy. But if we give them this, it definitely helps, and they don't have the same type of reaction that they have if they don't take the digestive enzymes. And it's to the point where, you know, you talk about adults when they take supplements and they know what is good for them and they know what they're supposed to take. But what a powerful testimonial when you have a 4-year-old not feel well, say to you, Mommy, I need my genzymes. That's what he calls the digestive enzymes. He says, Mommy, I need my genzymes. He tells me all the time, if he gets a little bit of a bellyache, if he doesn't feel well, if he knows he ate something that he's not supposed to eat, Mommy, I need my genzymes, is what he says to me. So I just want to share those two with you, talking about the multivitamin. We know that kids are picky eaters. Valerie alluded to this. She talked about the fact that our food supply today is not the same as it was years ago. And we'll post some links over the next couple of days of studies that show you that you know, if you wanted to eat an apple today versus an apple that maybe your grandmother ate 50 or 60 years ago, the nutrient content of that apple has changed so dramatically because our farming practices have changed dramatically over the last 50 years. And so we're all about increasing yield, and we're all about the fruit looking pretty in the store. We're all about it looking perfect. Guys, have you ever grown your own fruits and vegetables before? They don't look like that. The farmers have to do things different to the food to get it so that it all looks nice and pretty so that we pick it up in the grocery store. The other thing that you want to be aware of is think about how many of you are gardeners. I try to teach my kids to be gardeners. When we had our house in Greensboro, North Carolina, we had a big, beautiful garden. We're all in the woods now, so we can't really have a garden, but we help with our neighbor's garden, which is right outside these windows. So our kids come and they eat right out of the garden. And when we grow tomatoes, a tomato grown at home is completely different. Those of you that are gardeners know this. Completely different than a tomato that you buy in the grocery store. Why? Because a ripe tomato only lasts a few days. And where do our tomatoes come from in most of our commercial grocery stores, right? They're coming from other countries. So they're being picked before they're ripe. And when they're picked before they're ripe, they're sprayed with ethylene gas so that they turn red, but they're really not ripe. But they're turned red so they look pretty in the store so that you can buy them, but bring them home and put them in your refrigerator or on your counter and let them keep for 4 or 5 days without them spoiling. You know, if you're a gardener, when you pick a tomato, you only have a day or two to eat it before it spoils if it was truly ripe. So our farming processes have changed. We're not eating local foods anymore. The nutrient content of our foods is different. So what we should be trying to do is we should try to eat local as much as possible. We should try to support our local farmers instead of bringing food in from all other countries. We should make sure that we're trying to eat organic as much as possible. And to fill in the gaps in between, right, we want to make sure that our kids are getting a good multivitamin. My preference, the one that we use in our family, is the Multivitamin Plus. We know that kids have a lot of neurologic support issues and digestive health issues and cognitive functioning issues, and the activated B vitamins and the methylated folic acid in that Multivitamin Plus can make a huge difference in your family, especially, as Valerie talked about, if your kids have issues with they need extra neurologic or cognitive support, right? I can't talk about the products, but again, FDA disclaimer, there's no product that is, according to the FDA, a treatment for a disease or can mitigate a disease, but if we can help the body function properly by providing it with optimal nutrition, it can make a huge difference. So I'm going to strongly recommend that if you have kids, Multivitamin Plus from DNA Miracles, digestive enzymes from DNA Miracles, especially because of the way that our food is handled. And finally, my kids' third favorite one that they insist that they get every day is the DNA Miracles Essential Omega-3 Fatty Acids. We hear all the time about the importance of omega-3 fatty acids in adults for cardiovascular function. There's also a great deal of evidence on neurologic function with omega-3 fatty acids. And how many of your kids are getting enough healthy fish oils through their natural diet? My kids, we live at the beach. We have access to incredible fresh seafood all the time. My Tristan will not eat it at all. He turns up his nose at fish like crazy. We have to tell him the only fish I can get him to eat is mahi-mahi, which he calls chicken fish because it doesn't taste like fish to him. He likes chicken fish and will eat that about once a week, but that's not enough to get him the healthy omega-3 fatty acids he needs in his diet. So with this, tastes delicious. In fact, it's like a smoothie. They beg for this every day. In fact, I have to hide it from them because they'll get right in the refrigerator and they'll get a spoon and they'll come running over to me multiple times per day and say, Mom, can I have my fish oil? Now, imagine that. Kids begging for fish oil. But it's delicious. To me, it tastes like a mango gelati. Great, another little treat. Between the OPC chews and the fish oil, the kids think they're getting candy. They think they're getting dessert. And in fact, they're getting excellent nutrition. So those are the 3 products that I wanted to talk to you today. As a takeaway, my wrap up is try to get your kids to garden, get them involved in gardening.